Have you noticed that someone can be completely easygoing at home and then, 40 minutes before boarding, become the unpaid director of a very angry airline? At home, anywhere is fine for dinner. At the airport, why did you decide you need coffee during the final boarding call? So what changes when travel starts? It happens with couples, friends, parents, siblings, and solo travelers who suddenly feel personally attacked by somebody standing still on an escalator. It isn't proof that travel reveals a secret evil personality. It's more like your usual personality got dropped into a completely different operating system. The shift often begins before the suitcase is even zipped. Anticipation can feel great: beach, food, no alarm. But alongside the excitement is a running background process: passports, dog care, chargers, check-in, transport, bags, reservations. Your brain is enjoying the trailer, while somebody still has to run the production. And if one person is carrying more of that planning, questions can land differently. Where's my charger? Maybe a harmless question. But to the person tracking the flights, the kids, the bags, and the hotel, it can sound like, please open another ticket in your already full support queue. That invisible planning work is real work. Research on family load distinguishes the physical jobs from the managerial, cognitive, and emotional work of noticing, anticipating, and organizing them. The point here isn't to decide who is right in your family. It's to notice when one person has silently become the travel project manager. Then there's expectation collision. One person imagines a vacation as sleep late, wander, eat something good. Another imagines breakfast at 8, museum at 9, sunset photos at 6. Neither person is wrong, but you did not book the same internal vacation. This is why "let's just figure it out when we get there" can sound romantic to one nervous system and like an emergency alert to another. The conflict is often not the museum, it's the mismatch between how much certainty each person expected. Travel day turns the volume up. At home, you know where the bathroom is, how long the drive takes, and where your stuff lives. Travel removes those shortcuts: gate, train, parking, passport. When uncertainty goes up, your brain has more monitoring and control work to do. And there are so many tiny choices: where to eat, whether to upgrade, which route, what time, which activity. Choice overload is not guaranteed every time you see a menu, but research does show that when a decision gets complex enough to exceed a person's available cognitive resources, more choice can become more difficulty than freedom. That's why a slow walker becomes a villain when boarding starts in 14 minutes. The reaction isn't only about the walker. It's the walker plus the clock, plus the bags, plus the gate change, plus the fact that you have not eaten since dawn. Your patience is not gone. It is carrying luggage. For couples, there's a second problem. Stress can spill into the relationship. Daily diary research has found that on days people report more stress, couples also report more same-day conflict. That doesn't mean your partner caused the stress. It means they may be standing closest when it needs somewhere to land. Travel also changes exposure. At home, you naturally separate: work, errands, rooms, hobbies. On a trip, it can become breakfast together, car together, activity together, hotel together, dinner together, then repeat. A habit you barely notice at home can become extremely noticeable when there is no quiet gap around it. And sleep is the quiet accomplice. Early flights, late nights, unfamiliar rooms, alcohol, snoring, jet lag. Travel can disrupt the sleep your emotion regulation systems normally rely on. In an experiment, several nights of restricted sleep changed how healthy participants evaluated pleasant and neutral images, making them rate those images more negatively. So sometimes an argument that sounds like a relationship problem is two tired nervous systems trying to negotiate breakfast. That doesn't excuse being cruel. It does explain why the smallest problem can feel weirdly enormous at 6:15 in the morning.
Friends and families get the same pressure test. Travel exposes things everyday hanging out doesn't. Punctuality, money comfort, cleanliness, alone time needs, planning style, and what happens when plans break. It is basically a compatibility speed run with luggage.
Solo travelers skip the group conflict, but not travel brain. Every choice belongs to one person: the route, the money, the neighborhood, dinner, the backup plan. Freedom is great. It also means your decision-making department never closes. But this is not only a story about friction. Once the bags are down and the plan becomes real, travel can create the opposite condition: shared novelty. In experiments, couples who did a novel, arousing activity together showed greater increases in experienced relationship quality than couples who did a more mundane activity.
That does not mean a destination magically fixes a relationship. The useful part is the shared experience, doing something new together, talking, paying attention, having a story that belongs to both of you. Novel experiences can also be memorable, though novelty does not guarantee stronger memory in every situation.
So here is the travel operating system. Before you leave, name the driver, the navigator, the reservation holder, and the person allowed to call a quiet hour. On travel day, reduce decisions. Pick food options, save the documents, choose a meeting point. And when somebody gets sharp, ask one question before you answer. Is this a problem, or is our system overloaded? Travel does not necessarily reveal someone's truest self. It reveals how a normal person responds when routine, sleep, certainty, and personal space all change at once, which is why 4 days on a trip can teach you something that 4 years of Friday dinners never did. And next time someone asks what gate you're at, maybe check the boarding pass first. For more brain and body field notes like this, the free Neuro Quirks field guide is below.